Good afternoon. Doug from A Contractor's Life, Doug's Drywall and Home Repair Services. So, I've been thinking about it, and I've asked if y'all would like to see how you go about doing estimates. Because if you ever have to do a business, well, of course, you gotta figure it out, you know. So, and I usually go to Lowe's. Sometimes I'll go to Home Depot if I'm in the area closer to Home Depot. That's pretty much what we got around here. Uh, Sometimes go to like a surplus city or something like that if it's more of a mechanical thing that we need. But anyhow, what we're gonna do is I did an estimate the other day, or went to an estimate. I gotta figure it out. Looked at the job, and what it is it's the top of a house in an attic, and basically it's about 12 feet tall, but it's completely on an angle. So, what else is there better to do on a Sunday afternoon while your little one's over here taking a nap in his little chair? Dog's all sleeping, nice and quiet. Good time to think. So, what we're going to do is the thing's 36 feet long, and at the top, at the point, we're going to put a little, you know, a little dealio, kind of like a flat spot in the peak. So instead of it being a peak, it'll be a flat spot with the peak above it, which will hide all the wires for the lighting and what have you. And then on the sides, where it comes down, we're going to put a little knee wall, 3 foot tall. And then we're going to drywall it all. And we're going to put kind of like a standardized, like electrical boxes, like every 9 or 11 feet, what have you. We'll kind of figure that out while we're there, and what the woman wants. So, first thing we got to do, obviously, is we look at our drawing here. I'm not going to show you that. That's pretty icky. It's literally a triangle with my measurements. I'm pretty simple. So, basically, I guess I'm going to have to show you. What we got here is that nastiness. It's simple but crude, and I like it. So, we got 12 feet per side, basically, because it's 9 feet from where the top of the knee wall is to the peak. Not to the flat spot, but to the peak. We're just going to go on ahead and figure that 9 foot plus that 3 foot. Okay? So, that's 12 feet. So we got to figure out 12 feet and then 36 foot long. So how do we do that? Well, you got to take and figure all that out. And you just figure up the square footage. Okay? So it's 12 foot times 36, which is what? So let's go over here and figure that out. 12 times 36. It's 12. It's 72. 0. Yes, I still do it the old school way. I do not do that timeline shit. Pardon my French. I cannot stand. I don't know about y'all, but I cannot stand how this modern scholastic system works. They don't teach cursive writing anymore. They don't teach proper math. I mean, everything's done on these things. Which is fine, because a lot of things, around the way here, it obviously, it's all electronics now. But if you don't know how to write, how do you sign anything? How do you sign a check? Because there is some places that still pay you by a paper check. Not many, but some. Especially in my line of business. Somebody will write you a check. You got to take it to the bank. Well, you got to sign the back of it. I'm sorry, but if somebody looks at me at my age and I'm printing my name on the back of it and I give it to the teller at the bank, then they're going to look at me like I'm stupid. Just plumb stupid. And yeah, I know obviously you can take a picture of it and electronically deposit it that way. Me personally, I don't like doing that because I like my funds immediately. Very seldom do I ever have to worry about not having my funds immediately unless it's like a larger check. And then even then, most of the time, they'll still give you part of it. Anyway, I could go on and on and on forever. So, 12 times 36. Where are we at here? So, 2 times 3, that's 6. 3 times 1 is 3. Doink. 2. 7 plus 6, 13. And that's 4. So, that's 432 square feet per side. So, we'll just figure you want to add 10% for overall, like waste, cutoffs, that kind of thing. So we'll go ahead and we'll keep that. But we got to times that by 2 because we're doing both sides. So 432, well, that'd be 864. So it's 864 square feet. Now, how do you figure out how many pieces of drywall that is? Well, how many square feet's in an 8-foot sheet of drywall? 4 times 8, 32. So you have to divide 864 by 32. So we'll go on ahead and we'll get that figured out. As soon as I figure out where my calculator is, there we go. And I'm only doing it on here just for speed's sake here. You gotta know how to do math, folks. Could I do it? Sure. Do I feel like it? No, because it's a dadgum Sunday. So, that would be 27 sheets of drywall, 4 foot by 8 foot by ½ inch. So, what I like to do is I'll add a few sheets. So that's 30 sheets of drywall. So we'll go on over here and we'll write 30 sheets times 4 by 8 by ½ inch drywall. And oops, here, I'll sit y'all back over here again. There we go. Used to doing this stuff in my truck, y'all. There we go. You still see me good? All right. So let's write all this out. What for materials do you need? Obviously, you need drywall. You need tape. And you need mud. And you need screws. That is the 4 major things. Anything above and beyond that, you'll have to look at your framing and see if you need any backers. Obviously, I'm not there. But it's a straightforward deal. New framing, all that. Well, it's not new framing, it's just never been touched. So basically, it's kind of like new framing. So, we don't need any backers. I did look at that. And what do I mean by a backer? Well, that is, like, easiest way to describe it is, say you're drawing a wall, okay? You got And then you'll have your other wall. Okay, and your stud, 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 stud. And then you got your stud, 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 stud. A backer would be, like, say you get to the edge of this wall, okay? And these are all 16 on center, of course. When you get to here, say this wall is over top of this wall. Well, there's nothing back here to screw your drywall to, so you'll have to put another 2x4 in there, or 2x6, depending on what the wall's made of course. That way, the end of your drywall is not flopping. Or, on the top of your wall here, sometimes your trusses will be running like this, you know, as you're looking down, and your wall will be over here, okay, which also goes down to the floor. We're looking like down from the peak of the roof down, and you'll have a wall going this way, okay. Well, on this wall, your truss don't line up, so you'll have to put a piece of wood like this over top of that edge of your wall. That way, when you're hanging your drywall up there, you got something to screw to. Now that that's out of the way anyway. So, we make a list to see what we need here, okay? We know we need 30 sheets of drywall. So, we write drywall, and we need screws, we need tape. I like to use 2 different kinds of tape. I'll explain shortly. And then most importantly, mud. And I used to just stick with one style or type of mud. And here of lately, just because I've been getting busy, I've been using 2 different types of mud. I've been using bag mix as well as pre-mix. Bag mix mainly for like taping, blocking, or say you're in a remodel, or in my one case where somebody else hung the drywall and there's major gaps or flappage or just floppy, sloppy, not right and tight stuff. Well, bag mix is actually a little bit stronger, a little bit tougher. You get the USG, the white and blue bags. They actually have a lot of them, man. Not every one of them, you gotta look. But a lot of them will have fibers in it, kind of like a plaster. It makes it a little bit stronger, okay? That works really well for that kind of stuff. And it works really well like if you have to do a plaster repair and you don't want to go buying big old bags or buckets of plaster, which sometimes is hard to find, believe it or not, even though there's still a boatload of houses around, like my house. That wall back there, that ceiling up there, that wall over there, it's all plaster. This house was made in like the 30s, and I love it. It's my grandparents' house. So, what else do we need besides mud, tape, screws, and drywall? As far as materials. Well, then you go to your secondaries. What size screws? What types of tape? What types of mud? We'll figure that out in a minute. So, drywall, we know we need 30 sheets. So, 30 sheets, I always write pieces, shorter abbreviation, times, and then we gotta look up the price. So, we'll get out of there. Let's see if I can get my stinking Lowe's app to work here. I don't know why, but this stupid thing has not been loading my app. I don't know what's going on here. I gotta take this thing out, I guess. Oh wow, how did I do that? I just had a split screen. I don't even know how I did it. Ow! So, alright, I guess we're gonna have to do this crap the hard way. Lowe's, Chambersburg. Alright, let's get it on. Excuse me while I get some energy. As I said, I live. Didn't think y'all want to see me drinking my coffee. Alright, here we go. Let's get it on here. Sometimes this tablet is just slow, and it's not like it's not an iPad. Me personally, I do not like Apple products. I like them for the gold content. I do e-waste recycling on the side, get all the gold, silver, that kind of dealio. And I would make a YouTube channel doing that, except for the fact that everybody and their brother has channels of that everywhere, as they do this style of stuff. But not everybody just goes step by step. That's kind of my whole dealio with this. Oh my word, what is going on here? I don't understand it here. Let's turn my Wi-Fi off and see what it does. I'm sorry guys, this thing is just taking forever. Hold on 1 second here. Okay, so I finally got it. So, 10 minutes later, and almost waking my son up. So, as you can see, there are many different kinds. And of course, it's still not loading. You just gotta figure out what you need. I like to go with this one here. It's the Gold Bond 1/2 inch by 4 foot by 8 foot strength. Light. It's a lot easier to lift, especially when you're doing stuff by yourself like me. Pain in the booty. But the problem with that is they only sell this by the piece online. And I need a price on something that is in the store. And what's weird is if you look that same product up on Home Depot, it's like $3 more a sheet. Doesn't make any sense. Same way with Lowe's, that's 12 miles away in another store, which is still kind of local. That same sheet, instead of being $16.38 a sheet, is 21 something. It's retarded. I googled it one time and they say it's because of the independent managers and the area that they're in, as in, like, they go by the popularity of it in the area. So apparently it's not that popular where I'm at, which makes no sense because, anyway, so The regular drywall that they have usually in stock, yeah, see here it says pickup unavailable. You can only get it by delivery by May 26th. So what we'll do is we'll look down here. It's a CertainTeed, which is pretty much what Lowe's carries. And it's $23.58. So you got to figure in your tax, because the customers don't ever figure in the tax. Whatever price you give them, that's the amount of money that they're going to give you if they decide to go with you as a contractor. So always make sure you add that in. I made that mistake a couple times of just, oh yeah, it's, $23.58. So I just put $23.60. Well, that 2 cents extra is just not enough, obviously. In PA here, it's 6% sales tax. So you'll have to figure that out. So what I usually do is I legitimately will just put $25, because that's about what it comes out to. And if it's a couple cents over, it's not that big of a deal, It's a couple cents extra that you can put for gas or what have you. So 30 pieces times 26. Bucks. And try to make this kind of stuff halfway where you can read it, because you're going to eventually, if you're running any kind of a halfway decent business and you want to give them a contract, especially if you're insured, which I am, you want to put it on an invoice of some sort, or a contractor sheet, or some kind of a contract. That way they can sign it and you can sign it, and that way you got something in case something happens that you got to go back on them and put a lien on something or what have you. You'll have it, and you'll have proof of what they agreed to, what they signed up for, all of that. So we'll figure that up here in a minute. So we need screws. I like to use 1 5/8 for 1/2 inch drywall. That gives you literally 1 1/8 inch, give or take, to stick in that wood. And what's the other thing that we forgot to put on our listy list here? Glue. Especially on ceilings and anything that's angled like that, you want to put that glue on there. Construction glue, drywall glue, it doesn't matter. That liquid nail, pretty much most of it is the same till you get into like your landscape rocks, that kind of thing. Then of course, a little bit of a chemical change. So we just gonna write liquid. Nail. So we'll have to write that on there. So screws. So we go over here back to our dealio with our Lowe's. Delete. Drywall screws, 1 5/8 inch. And then you just go, go, go. There they are. Oh man, how did I do that? I swear every time I do a video with you guys, I somehow get coffee on me. I don't know how I manage that. So here we got one of the small boxes, the 1 pound box, $6.98, $25.98 for a 5 pound, and then you got the big old honking bucket, $49.98. Well, we're not going to need that big ass bucket, but we need more than a 1 pound and possibly more than a 5 pound. Excuse me. And if you're anything like me, you always have extra. So the 5 pound box will do perfectly good. It's $25.98. So that's $26. So we'll write down $27. So we go over here, screws, 1 box, 5 pound, equals, what I say, $27. 27. Sorry about that, guys. I had a little sleepy dirt in my eyeballs for some reason. I've been up since 4 o'clock. My goodness, it's noon. Alright, so let's move on to the next deal. So now we need tape. And that's what you do. You just go on down the line like that, and you figure out everything, the prices of everything of what you need. Now, like I said, I use 2 different types of tape. And my angles, they're not going to be good enough for the actual, like, corner. Now with these, I will probably use what's called Sure-Corner. Comes in a box rolled up, and it's got 2 pieces of metal on each side of the tape. They're about a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inches wide, something like that. And you got some paper stick out past it. Or you can get plastic. Being that it's in an attic and you don't want to touch it, and somebody's going to be living up there, I'm going to use the metal. And what it is there's a space between the 2 metal pieces. That way your tape can bend. So we'll have to look that up, and we'll have to look up regular tape. And then I've been using this tape that came out a little while ago. It's called, well, it's all fiberglass. And what it does is it actually melts into your mud mist. Oh man, it's like butter. Awesome. It cuts down on your coats. It's just awesome. Now regular corners, I still use regular tape because I only coat it one time on each side of my corners or my drops. Usually called drops and angles. Angles are up top, like right there, and then your drops are here. Some people call them corners and angles, whatever. I call them drops and angles. So, and I like to pass on any kind of savings that I can to my customers, whether it's $2 or $100 or what have you. And I almost always have extra tape laying around. So I'm not even going to charge for paper tape. And I actually have some fiber tape, but it'll be used up till I get there because that job that I've been working on, we got to drywall that one first before we go to this one. So we got to look up drywall tape. Drywall tape. It'll go over here and it'll pull down a whole list, and you just click on that old jewel. Drywall tape. And then it'll bring up all kinds of this new tape. Old tape, new tape. Now you got to be careful, guys, because look, I was saying about fiberglass. When you look at this one, it literally says fiber tape. No, that's that stupid ass mesh tape. It's like a plastic. It's not even fiberglass, man. I'm not sure what in the world that it is, but I cannot absolutely stand that stuff. It's like a screen that somebody cut into strips. but plastic. Best way to describe it. If anybody has done any kind of drywall and like remodeling and you had to take stuff out, I'm sure you have seen that. Now, this is what I'm talking about right here. Let me get it a little bit bigger of a picture here. As soon as it loads. I don't know what's going on with this stupid thing. I don't know if it's because I got this thing going, plus this thing, I don't know. No internet connection. Well, wonder why that is. Retry. I know I got internet connection, my TV going in the background there. It runs off internet. Let's turn the Wi-Fi back on here. Let's see if that does anything here. Retry. I can plainly see it right there. I'm not sure what's going on. I generally do not even use Wi-Fi because I don't need to use Wi-Fi. I have unlimited data. So, alright, let's go back. Alright, let's see if I can blow this up. Yes, I can. So, that's the stuff I'm talking about right there. What's that say? Fiba use. Or Fiba use. F-I-B-A-U-S-E. Saint Gobain. I guess that's who makes it. I don't know. But that's the tape that I like to use, like on all my bed joints, especially my butt joints, because it cuts down on the width of your butt joint. Used to be I was doing 3-foot wide butt joints to cover that tape. Man, I'm telling you, and I'll show you as soon as we get to mudding on the house here. That stuff just melts. I mean, it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like, I don't know if anybody's ever used actual fiberglass, like making things, like how you layer fiberglass and put the goo on it to create your shapes and that kind of thing. Once you lay that fiberglass sheet down and you put that goo on it, your hardener and stuff, and it just kind of smooths out and just kind of, oh man, it's like, I'm telling you, it's the best tape ever. It's like the best thing since grandma's homemade sliced bread, I'm telling you. Best. Makes your eyes go boing. So, that stuff, $8 a roll. So, right over here, Fiba, tape, $8 a roll. And that is, what's this say? 250 feet long. Yeah, 250 feet long. I'm just making sure there ain't anything else here. Yeah, okay. So, and then regular tape is, usually you can get it for like 2 something. Man, that shit must have went up too. Quit swearing. Man, that's crazy. I used to just charge $3 for a roll of tape, man. It's literally at $4.40 now. That's nuts. That's for, wow. That's nuts. Sheetrock brand solid drywall joint tape is $3.58 a roll, and it's only 75 feet. Over here, and they're both the same exact width. Okay, 2 5/8 wide. This one, Sheetrock brand, same thing. Same exact description. Solid drywall tape. Solid drywall joint tape. Same thing. $440 for 250 feet. Like, why would you have to pay more? Oh, hell. Who knows? So anyway, I always have enough of that in my array of things in my truck. So I'm not even going to charge for that. So just that fiber tape. So now we got to get the mud. So we'll go back here. Drywall mud. And again, this is where I use two different types of mud. And the first one is we'll go on ahead. I like to use the 45, especially like when you're taping and stuff, because you can kind of make your mud go a little further when you're taping, because you put it on, you pull it off. So that's $13 a bag. So we'll put down $14. Mud. And we'll put bag, mud, $14 a bag. And then bucket mud. Oops. I can't write. I was trying to put bud instead of mud. And then, okay, we'll find that mud down here. Now, I like to use the light blue and what I call like a lime green. Basically, these two. I like to use those two. The biggest difference is one is better for like corner bead, less shrinkage, that kind of thing. And to be honest with you, I forget which one, but they both work pretty good. And whenever I go to the store, it just depends on which one they have more of or which one's closer to the floor that I grab, because to me they both operate the same way. One's Proform, one's USG. USG obviously is a proven dealio. Usually I'll go with the blue lid if they have it. Plus it's $1 cheaper. So it's $22 for a bucket. And then we got to get our liquid nail. So here, let's go up there. Come on, delete. There you go. Liquid nail. Go. Alright, so here we go, here we go, here we go. Liquid nail, off-white, multi-use, interior, exterior construction adhesive. $3.48. So we'll put down $4. $4 per tube. And I'm not too sure. I think these are, yeah, they're the small tubes. Pretty sure, which is fine because that's what I have. I like the smaller ones. They seem to drip less. I legitimately hate liquid nail, man. That stuff is as messy as I don't know what. So there's that. Now, Do we need anything else? We got drywall, screws, tape, 2 different muds, 2 different tapes, but we only need the one because I have other tape. And the liquid dam. So, let's figure this out. Okay, we'll get our gunculator back out. Let's make us a new list here. So, alright, so let's draw this over here. Really wish my camera would turn around. So, make it nice and neat. 4 by 8 by drywall times 30 equals 26. Oops, what am I doing, dummy? Okay, let's start this over. Alright, so we got drywall at $26 times 30 pieces equals. So 26.00. I know you don't need to do it. I always do it. 30 equals. That's $780. So we come over here, $780. Now, screws. Screws at $27 times 1 box equals $27. Next up, tape at $8 a roll. Times 2 equals, that'd be $16. Didn't need a calculator for that. Mud, now we gotta do bag mix and bucket. So we'll get, to start off with, something that small. We're going ahead and do 2 and 2. So we'll write down bag, mud, and bucket, mud. So bag mud at $14 a bag times 2 equals, calculator? Nah, 28. Bucket mud, well, we got that at $22. So bucket mud at 22 times 2 equals $44. And then we got the old liquid nail. And I never know how much to use of that. I used to just buy a big old box And then once however many tubes I used, I would just charge, what have you. I quit doing that because I don't have my actual work van anymore or my Suburban. I use a truck. So, less space to take up. I just get it as I need it. So, liquid nail. Liquid nail. At $4. And we'll go ahead and go with 2 of them. Just from experience. Equals, that'd be $8. So, that's with the old tax included. So, here's what we got here. Nice and neat here. This is our notes. This is nice and neat. So, we'll have to come down here and we'll have to figure out our total here. So these are all zeros. So that's a 0, and that's a 0. So 7 and 6, 13, 14. Oh man. We'll just do it this here way. Quicker. Plus it's more accurate. You don't want to mess up. When it comes to adding a lot of them, of course I can do it. But you want to make sure you're right for your customer. So we already got the 780 up there. So plus 27 plus 16 plus 28 plus 44 plus 8 equals. So that's $903. For material. Well, then you got to figure out your labor. And some people, it's kind of hard to figure out something that little because sorry, I'm trying to get my phone set up there. Hi, Bubby. The hardest thing is figuring out whether it's big enough to charge by the sheet or if it's small enough to just figure up kind of in your head how long you think it would be and do time and material. I haven't really thought about that one yet. You got to kind of think of what you charge by the sheet, and I can't tell you that because kind of everybody does their own deal, their own thing. You got to figure in like how far away it is, how close it is, how much hauling, how much carrying, like how much actual labor, because there's more to it than just hanging drywall and mudding. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure in how many trips you're going to take down to your job, how long it's going to take you, how much stuff you got to carry in the house, up the stairs. You got to figure in that difficulty. Then you got to figure in the difficulty because everything's on an angle. Sorry, I'm rocking my boy here at the same time. He kind of had a little wake up there. But with all that being said, like, you just got to figure all that in. And I can't tell you what to charge because, like, what I charge is not going to be what you charge because everybody's area is different. I wish it would all be the same across the board. Kind of like prices for everything. Glad I don't live in Cali. I couldn't do that. Bad enough, gas is what it is around where I'm at. And then me, I take in account the actual customer. Some customers aren't as well off. Like this is a single mom. She has some special needs kids. She has her mom living with her, and this is for her son and daughter-in-law going to move in. So you take in, me personally, I take all that into account. A lot of contractors are just like, whatever, this is what I charge, this is what it's going to be, blah, 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 blah. And I try not to do that. Some folk I'll charge normal price, $90 to $100 a sheet, $90 to $120 a sheet. And then there's other people, I just say, hey, $2,000, $5,000, $600, whatever, So with that being said, our next step would be to put it on a contractor's page or a contract. And again, everybody does that different. Everybody has their own invoice sheets, contractor sheets, what have you. But I'll let you know if I get the job. And we'll go from there, guys. Till next time, keep it right and tight. Because remember, if not, it's left and loose. And she is never happy with that. Have a good one, y'all.